Billionaire single mom walked in, and froze when she saw a single dad feeding her baby. Elena Mercer stood frozen in the doorway of her penthouse apartment, her designer handbag slipping from her fingers and landing with a soft thud on the marble floor. The sight before her was so unexpected, so jarring, that for a moment she forgot how to breathe. There, on her cream-colored sofa, sat a man she'd never seen before, cradling her 6-month-old daughter Lily in his arms, feeding her a bottle with practiced ease. "Who are you?" Elena finally managed, her voice barely above a whisper. Her heart hammered against her ribs as protective instincts surged through her body. She'd left Lily with her regular nanny, Mrs. Peterson, just 3 hours ago for an emergency board meeting. The man looked up, startled. He had kind eyes, warm brown with tiny crinkles at the corners, and a 5 o'clock shadow that suggested he hadn't had time to shave that morning. "I'm Jack. Jack Reynolds. Mrs. Peterson had a family emergency, her son was in an accident. I'm her neighbor. She called me in a panic, and I offered to help." Elena's shoulders remained tense as she took a cautious step forward. "And she just handed my baby to a stranger?" Jack's expression softened with understanding. "Not exactly. I'm a single dad myself. My daughter Zoe is in Mrs. Peterson's daycare group. She's known me for years and—" He gestured to Lily, who was contentedly drinking her formula, tiny fingers wrapped around one of his. "I've done this a few thousand times before." Something in his gentle manner and the natural way he held Lily made Elena's panic begin to subside. She moved closer, noticing now the baby monitor on the coffee table, the diaper bag neatly organized beside it, and a children's book laid open as if he'd been reading to Lily before her feeding time. "I tried calling you," Jack continued, "but it went straight to voicemail. Mrs. Peterson gave me the emergency contact list, but your mother is apparently in Europe, and your assistant wasn't picking up either." Elena closed her eyes briefly. Her phone had died during the meeting, a meeting where she'd just secured a $50 million investment for her tech company's newest innovation. At 32, she was one of the youngest female billionaires in the country, having built her cybersecurity firm from scratch. But in this moment, none of that mattered. She was just a mother who'd come home to find a stranger with her child. "I should have left a note on the door," Jack said apologetically. "I just didn't want to leave Lily alone even for a second." As if on cue, Lily finished her bottle and Jack expertly shifted her to his shoulder, patting her back with gentle rhythm. The baby gave a small burp and then cooed happily, reaching for Jack's face with pudgy hands. "She likes you," Elena observed, finally allowing herself to sit down on the opposite end of the sofa. Jack smiled, and something about that smile made Elena's chest tighten in an unfamiliar way. Kids can sense when someone's comfortable around them. "My Zoe is 3 now, but I remember these days." A shadow crossed his face. Her mother left when she was 4 months old. Couldn't handle being a parent. Elena felt an unexpected kinship with this stranger. Lily's father decided fatherhood wasn't for him before she was even born, she admitted. "He offered financial support, but I told him we didn't need it." "Because you're Elena Mercer," Jack said with a hint of recognition in his voice. "I didn't put it together until just now. Your face was on the cover of Business Insider last month." Elena nodded, suddenly self-conscious in her tailored suit and perfect makeup. She reached for Lily, who happily transferred to her mother's arms, snuggling against her chest. "I should go," Jack said, standing up. "Mrs. Peterson texted that her son is stable, but she won't be able to come back today. She's very sorry about the inconvenience." "It's not an inconvenience," Elena said quickly. "Family comes first. I'll call her tomorrow." She hesitated, then added, "Thank you for stepping in. Not many people would do that." Jack shrugged, gathering his jacket. "Like I said, I've been there. Single parenting is hard enough with support. It's impossible without it." As he headed toward the door, Elena found herself not wanting him to leave. It had been so long since she'd had a conversation with someone who wasn't an employee or a business associate, someone who saw her as a person rather than a success story or a boss. "Jack," she called after him. "Would you like to stay for dinner? It's the least I can do to thank you." He turned, surprise evident on his face. "I wouldn't want to impose. Plus, I need to pick up Zoe from my sister's house soon." "Bring her," Elena heard herself say. "I mean, if you want to. Lily would probably enjoy the company, and I." She trailed off, not sure how to explain that she suddenly craved normal human connection. Jack studied her for a moment, then smiled that warm smile again. "Okay. That would be nice, actually. Zoe's been asking for a playdate with a baby. She's going through a mothering phase." And so began an unexpected evening that would change both their lives forever. Jack returned an hour later with Zoe, a precocious 3-year-old with her father's warm eyes and curly hair pulled into uneven pigtails. She immediately took to Lily, speaking to the baby in an exaggerated gentle voice that made both adults smile. Elena ordered takeout from her favorite Italian restaurant, and they ate at her rarely used dining table. She learned that Jack was an architect who had scaled back to part-time work to be more present for Zoe. He'd designed several notable buildings in the city but had recently focused on sustainable housing projects for low-income families. "It pays less, but it matters more," he explained, helping Zoe with her pasta. "After Maria left, I realized time is the only resource we can't make more of." Elena nodded, thinking of her own packed schedule and the constant guilt she felt whenever she had to leave Lily with Mrs. Peterson. "I've been thinking about restructuring my company," she admitted. "Delegating more. Being home before Lily's bedtime. It's not easy finding that balance," Jack said. "But from what I've read about you, if anyone can revolutionize work-life balance in the tech world, it's probably Elena Mercer." She laughed, surprised by how good it felt. "You give me too much credit. And you don't give yourself enough," he countered gently. After dinner, they moved to the living room where Zoe proudly showed Lily her favorite stuffed bunny, narrating an elaborate story about its adventures that had Jack and Elena exchanging amused glances over the children's heads. When it was time for them to leave, Elena found herself reluctant to say goodbye. "Maybe we could do this again sometime," she suggested. "A proper playdate for the girls." Jack's eyes crinkled at the corners. "I'd like that. Zoe would too." As weeks passed, these playdates became regular occurrences. Sometimes at Elena's penthouse, sometimes at Jack's modest but charming house with its backyard swing set and vegetable garden. Elena found herself looking forward to these evenings more than any business success. She began implementing changes at her company, creating more flexible work policies, hiring additional executives to share her workload, even installing a state-of-the-art nursery at the office so parents could bring their children to work when needed. Her board members were skeptical at first, but when employee satisfaction scores soared and productivity actually increased, they couldn't argue with the results. Jack supported her through these changes, offering perspective from his own journey of balancing career and parenthood. Their friendship deepened, conversations extending long after the children had fallen asleep. Elena found herself sharing fears and dreams she'd never voiced to anyone, her worry that Lily would resent her workaholic tendencies, her secret desire to use her wealth for more meaningful social impact. Jack listened without judgment, offering insights from his own struggles. He told her about the panic attacks he'd experienced after becoming a single father, the career opportunities he'd declined to be present for Zoe, and his dream of designing spaces that brought communities together rather than just impressive buildings for the wealthy. 6 months after that first unexpected meeting, they sat together on a park bench watching Zoe push Lily's stroller carefully around the playground's perimeter, taking her role as honorary big sister very seriously. "She's going to be heartbroken when you move," Jack said quietly. Elena turned to him, confused. "Move? What are you talking about?" "Your expansion to Singapore. It was in the business news this morning. They said you'd be relocating to oversee the new Asia headquarters." Elena shook her head firmly. I'm not moving anywhere. Yes, we're opening an office in Singapore, but Diane Chen is taking the helm there. She's been my COO for 3 years and is more than ready. Relief washed over Jack's face, followed quickly by embarrassment. I shouldn't have assumed. I just thought that I'd put work before everything else. Elena finished for him. The old me might have. But I've learned some things these past months. She hesitated, then reached for his hand. Important things. About what really matters. Jack's fingers intertwined with hers, warm and steady. And what matters to Elena Mercer these days? She looked at their joined hands, then at the children, and finally into his eyes. This. Us. The family we've somehow started building without even realizing it. Jack's breath caught. Elena. I'm not proposing, she said quickly, a nervous laugh escaping her. At least not yet. But I am saying that I love you, Jack Reynolds. You and Zoe have changed my life in ways I never expected. You showed me it's possible to be successful and present, ambitious and nurturing. Jack's free hand came up to cup her cheek. I love you too. Have since that first dinner when you explained quantum computing to Zoe with chicken nuggets as visual aids. Their first kiss was interrupted by Zoe's excited squeal as she ran toward them, proudly announcing that Lily had said, Zozo, or at least something that sounded vaguely like it. The journey wasn't always smooth. Blending their lives had challenges. Jack sometimes felt overwhelmed by Elena's wealth and public profile, while Elena struggled to relinquish control and trust others with both her company and her heart. They argued about schools, parenting styles, and whether Jack should accept a prestigious commission that would require extensive travel. But they faced each obstacle together, with honesty and the shared understanding that their family, this unexpected, beautiful blend of 4 very different people, was worth fighting for. A year after their first meeting, Elena launched the Mercer Foundation, dedicating half her fortune to addressing housing insecurity and early childhood education. Jack's sustainable housing designs became the cornerstone of the foundation's work, creating communities where families could thrive regardless of income level. On Lily's 2nd birthday, with Zoe helping her blow out the candles, Jack proposed with a simple ring and a promise of partnership in all things. Elena said yes without hesitation, and their wedding 3 months later was an intimate affair in the garden of their new home, a place Jack had designed specifically for their blended family, with space for both his architectural studio and her home office overlooking the children's play area. 5 years later, Elena sat in a television studio, nervously adjusting her microphone as the host prepared to introduce her. She was there to discuss her best-selling book on reimagining corporate culture through the lens of family values, but her thoughts kept drifting to home, where Jack was probably helping the kids with their science project. And we're back with Elena Mercer Reynolds, tech innovator, philanthropist, and author of The Family Business, How Parenting Made Me a Better CEO, the host announced. Elena, your story has inspired millions. Can you tell our viewers how it all began? Elena smiled, remembering that day 7 years ago when she'd walked into her apartment and frozen at the sight of a kind stranger feeding her baby. It began with trust, she said simply. Learning to trust others, learning to trust myself to make different choices than the ones expected of me. And it began with love, recognizing it in unexpected places and having the courage to embrace it. The host nodded appreciatively. And your husband Jack is now a renowned architect focusing on community-centered design. How do you balance 2 successful careers with raising your family? Imperfectly, Elena admitted with a laugh. We have bad days. Days when work deadlines collide with school performances, when the kids are sick, when we're both exhausted. But we face those days together, and we've built a community around us of people who share our values. As the interview concluded, Elena looked directly into the camera. If you're watching this and feeling torn between your ambitions and your personal life, know that it doesn't have to be either/or. The most meaningful success comes when we redefine what success means, when we measure it not just in profits or achievements, but in moments of connection, in the people we love and who love us back. The red light on the camera blinked off, and Elena exhaled slowly. The host thanked her warmly, commenting on how genuine she seemed compared to many public figures. "That's because this isn't just a story I tell," Elena replied, gathering her things. "It's the life I'm living. And I need to get home for dinner. It's my turn to cook, and Jack's been texting me his increasingly desperate attempts at making risotto." As she left the studio, her phone buzzed with a new message. It was a photo from Jack, Lily and Zoe at the kitchen counter, covered in flour, with their youngest, 3-year-old Leo, sitting in a mixing bowl somehow. The caption read, "Dinner might be takeout tonight. Hurry home, we miss you." Elena smiled, typing back quickly, "On my way. Save me some chaos." And as her car navigated through the city traffic toward home, Elena reflected on the journey that had brought her here, from a driven, lonely billionaire to part of a messy, loving family that had redefined success on their own terms. All because she'd walked into her apartment one evening and found a single dad feeding her baby. Hey there, viewers. If this story touched your heart, please hit that like button and subscribe to our channel for more content that celebrates the unexpected ways love finds us. We all need reminders that success isn't just about what we achieve, but who we become and who we share our lives with along the way. Your support helps us continue sharing stories that matter. Thanks for watching, and we'll see you in the next video.